Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 17. So if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Leave a comment, are you thinking of wildcarding this week? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, playing your wildcard this week is obviously completely team dependent. There are quite a few injuries kind of going around, which are making people kind of think twice about maybe actually now using their wildcard if you do still have it. A lot of people have already used it, obviously, but yeah, with the likes of Sanchez being injured, if you've just brought him in, obviously Haaland's being a big injury situation. You've got Newcastle defenders that are kind of like falling like flies, like everything is kind of going wrong. So if I was on a wildcard draft this week, it would probably go something like this. So in goal, we do have Turner and Sanchez. Turner is only 3.9 now, so obviously you can buy him cheap. And as well as that, he may be Forest's #1 goalkeeper once again, because obviously he did play in that Wolves fixture, played pretty well as well. So yeah, you never know. And obviously he doesn't have the greatest fixtures coming up, but he's a 3.9 mil keeper. You're going to be spending that much on a keeper anyway. You may as well have the potential of a actual playing goalkeeper as well. So yeah, Turner does make the draft. I've also gone Sanchez as well. He of course is an injury doubt. If he is injured, obviously you wouldn't bring Sanchez in as your goalkeeper. But obviously with the run of fixtures that they do have, if he is fine, I think he is one of the better goalkeeper options just to have, simply because he's cheap at 4.6. And yeah, there are the likes of Dubravka and stuff like that, but Dubravka might be ill. You know, he did miss training, and Eddie Howe did say he was ill. They need to kind of assess him and stuff like that. So he might also potentially be out. So if both Sanchez and Dubravka are out, there's not really many other options to really go to. You could go maybe like to Spurs goalkeeper. You could bring in like maybe Raya, but that'd obviously block you off from like 3 outfield Arsenal players. Martinez could also be a decent option as well. They've got some really nice fixtures coming up for Aston Villa. There's not like a ton of like loads of really good options, but yeah, I mean Sanchez and Dubravka, and I mean Areola as well, are kind of like the mostly owned goalkeepers, but it could definitely all go wrong. But either way, those are the goalkeepers there. At the back, we have Trent, Saliba, Pau Torres, Pedro Porro, and Taylor. So Taylor is in there just obviously for your 4 mil enabling defender. You could just have like a really strong bench and spend a little bit more money on Taylor and upgrade him to a better defender. I do still have a little bit of money left in the bank on this draft. So yeah, Taylor is just, I mean, he's not even been a bad option. Some people that have played in this season have actually been introduced some pretty nice points from him. So yeah, Taylor, I mean, you could go Kabore as well if you really wanted to, but obviously he's going off to AFCON, I believe, so there's not really much point of having him. I think Taylor is probably the best 4 mil defender to have. I'd probably go with like Maguire or someone instead, but obviously he's just been injured now, so he's not really an option depending on how bad his injury is. If he's fine, then, you know, Maguire's an okay option. I mean, they don't have the greatest fixtures coming up, but for his price, he's not a bad player to have at all. Pedro Porro, one of the best defenders to own in the game as of right now. Really nice fixtures coming up, really attacking on set pieces and stuff, or some set pieces with Maddison being out. So yeah, can't really sing Porro's praises enough. He's looked really good the last few weeks, and like I say, those fixtures coming up: Forest away, Everton at home, Brighton away, and Bournemouth home. Some nice fixtures coming up for Spurs. Not necessarily like a clean sheet machine, because clean sheets are just really difficult to come by this season, but from his attacking threat, I think he's a really good option. Also gone Pau Torres as well. I think it's pretty important to have a solid like Aston Villa defender if you are on a wild card, because they play in game week 18, they play Sheffield United at home, which is obviously a fantastic fixture, and you know, either side of that Man United fixture as well, they've got some really nice games. So obviously Matty Cash was the one that everyone jumped on before, but he just seemingly has lost his place, whereas Pau Torres, you know, is going to be in that starting lineup every single fixture. He is a little bit more expensive at 4.7, but he is cheaper than Cash, so I guess if you do have Cash and you're on a wild card and you're getting rid of him, then obviously just bring Pau Torres in for a little bit cheaper. But yeah, he's obviously on this draft. We've also gone Saliba as well, 5.5. They've got a couple of tricky fixtures coming up with Brighton at home and Liverpool away, but then after that they've got some really nice fixtures, and you may even start thinking about maybe potentially doing double Arsenal defense when they have West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, stuff like that. But yeah, Saliba I think is arguably the best Arsenal defender to own. And then finishing things off, we do have Trent, 8.2 mil. He has gone up once again. I don't think Trent is like a necessity to own because the fixtures aren't fantastic. You could easily downgrade him to somebody else and then just use all those funds elsewhere. But if Haaland is out, you know, you may as well just bring Trent in if you're on a wild card, because you know, you're not going to be bringing Haaland in for Game Week 17, obviously. Game Week 18 is a blank, and if you want to bring him back for Game Week 19, then obviously that would be a really nice fixture. But Everton away isn't like the easiest fixture, and then you'd probably just sell Salah for for when he plays Newcastle at home, and then bring in Haaland with that money, who would then have Sheffield United at home. So yeah, like I say, you may as well just spread the funds, and obviously Trent has been pretty nice. Yeah, the fixtures are tough, but I mean, Man United could easily be like a 4-5-0 for Liverpool. It really could. But yeah, Trent is on this draft. So that's the back line and the goalkeepers. In midfield, we've got Saka, Salah, Palmer, Son, and Bowen. Yeah, Saka, like I say, two pretty difficult fixtures coming up. I mean, Brighton, they love conceding goals, so that could be a really good fixture for Saka. And then obviously Liverpool away is going to be a little bit more tough. But then with you know, the fixtures after that are really nice. So yeah, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace coming up for Saka. And yeah, like I say, I said it in my team selection video yesterday. I don't think he's got like a massive haul in him, but he is a player that is just going to keep ticking away. I still like him as an option, but it's one of those things that he's not going to be like a captaincy shout much, in my personal opinion, but still a really good asset to own. So that's Saka. Obviously Salah's in this draft, but we'll be getting rid of him soon because of AFCON and stuff like that. So you have to think about the Asian Cup and obviously AFCON when kind of deciding transfers and stuff like that. It's probably not the best time to bring in a player that is going to be going in a few weeks, because you're just going to have to make a transfer anyway to get rid of them. So yeah, Salah obviously is on this wildcard draft with the fixtures I've got coming up, but then obviously think about getting rid of him when you want to bring Haaland in. It's an easy swap back to Haaland, and then you're going to have to dissect your team a bit when Salah's back from AFCON, because you're going to have to want to bring... I mean, you probably will want Haaland and Salah both in your team at the same time, so that's obviously going to take some more transfers, but, you know, we have to do this every season with these cup competitions and stuff. But either way, Salah's in this draft. Palmer also in this draft, is on 4 yellow cards, so watch out for that, but he should be starting every single game. Obviously, Sheffield United at home is a really nice fixture, so I still think Palmer is a really good option. Some people are kind of and ahhing about potentially Sterling and stuff like that, but that benching definitely kind of worried me a little bit if I was a Sterling owner. I think Palmer, you know, he's cheap, he's on penalties. I think he's fine just to have in the team. And if he does get another yellow card, you've got a pretty strong bench in this squad as well, that you don't really... It's not really going to bother you too much. And then obviously we've got Son this week as well, who's got Forest away. He's obviously just a really good option to have. As I say, he is, in my opinion, the third best FPL asset to have this year, especially now that the confirmation of him on penalties as well. We didn't know if it was going to be him or somebody else. When Maddison comes back, maybe it starts to be a bit more of a doubt, but I don't see why Son would lose penalties. You know, he's given no reason to lose them, and he obviously converted the one that they got. So yeah, Son's on this draft, and then I've also gone Bowen as well, who's got Wolves at home this weekend. The fixtures aren't ideal for Bowen, like United and Arsenal in the next 3, but he has been really good going forward this season. And of course, you could downgrade him to an Anthony Gordon or someone like that if you really want to, but there is a little bit of doubt over him as well, because he wasn't in training. So, you know, if he is, I mean, you might not even have enough money to go up to Bowen, to be fair. If you don't have enough funds, then, you know, you could always downgrade Trent, or you could just downgrade Bowen to a Gordon or something like that, if you wanted to. Obviously, there's no Newcastle players in this back line or the midfield, which is a little bit of a doubt. I mean, you could bring in a Lascelles instead of Taylor if you really wanted to, because they do have some nice fixtures coming up over the next 3. It's just, you know, Lascelles is also a doubt now. With Dan Burn might be back, so Livramento might be a doubt. Obviously, Trippier is not playing this weekend, so, you know, you obviously won't have him. So it's going to be a little bit tough to kind of determine who is going to be in that starting lineup. We'll have to see what happens midweek, obviously, with the European fixture, but I think it's just really difficult to kind of call what Newcastle defenders are going to actually play. So yeah, if you feel confident, obviously bringing in a Newcastle defender, then you can bring him instead of Taylor, or maybe somebody like someone else. But for me, I think there's a lot of uncertainty. They're playing a lot of fixtures. They don't have the squad depth as well because of all of the injuries, so they just look very tired, and they did just concede 4 to Spurs as well. So I don't know, Fulham look really good at the moment. We'll have to see what happens, but I don't think it's like a necessity to have a Newcastle player. And then at the top, we've got Alvarez, Watkins, and Solanke. So Alvarez is kind of your Haaland, kind of, what's it called? He's just basically in place of Haaland. Should be on penalties now if Haaland is out. And obviously really nice fixtures on either side of the blank. We've obviously got Watkins as well. He's kind of gone past the bad fixtures now. He's got some really good ones coming up, and obviously just a really good option to have. And then Solanke for the next 3 also, I think, is a really nice option too. Now, of course, this is a draft without Haaland. If Haaland is back, then obviously it would have to get changed around quite a bit. But if you were gonna like let's say Haaland is fine, you obviously want him in your team, most likely anyway. Maybe you don't want him in your team, but yeah, there's 6.9 mil to kind of make there. So obviously you'd probably get rid of Trent, and then you'd have like 1.3 to kind of sort around. So maybe you bring in Simicast there instead, who's a little bit more expensive than your normal defender, but that 3.4. Maybe you get rid of a Bowen as well, and you bring in like a Gordon if you really wanted to. and then you've still got to make like 1.9 somewhere. So it's what you do if you want Solanke or not. Obviously, you don't have to have Solanke. Bring in like Archer or someone instead. And then if you wanted Haaland, obviously you have to take those hits elsewhere on the team. Like you got to get rid of Trent, you got to get rid of Bowen, and you got to get rid of Solanke just to have Haaland in the squad. Which again, it's completely up to you. Maybe it hurts your team too much to have Haaland in your squad, but if Haaland is fine, it'd probably be something like this that I'd go with for game week 17. And obviously, if Sanchez is out, you would just fall back to if Sanchez is out and Dubravka's fine, then obviously just go to Dubravka. But as well as that, they are going to be looking for a new goalkeeper in January. I think that's been confirmed now, so that's another transfer you're going to have to think about making then. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of different ways you can go, whether you want to go Haaland or not. But either way, that is going to be everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider hitting the like button down below. Let's try and hit 50 likes. Leave a comment. Are you playing your wildcard this week? Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. Best of luck with Game Week 17. I'll probably do a final team selection on Friday. But until then, guys, have a good one, and peace.